was their judgment. He's like, no, I mean, to be honest, they were a bunch of kids. And I'm like, whoa, kids? You weren't gonna like come alongside them and like train them up in the way they should go or anything? You know, like a patient parent would? No, ain't nobody got time for that, he said. Nah, I just called 2 bears out of the woods. Come out and take care of them. For my boy, Elisha. And I'm like, well, what were these kids doing to Elisha? Like, were they like murderous, like psycho brats? And you just needed to, you know, really just let them have it, just take care of business. He's like, nah, they were actually just, they were calling him Baldy. He hates when people call him Baldy. He can't stand when people comment on his bald head. So, you know, these kids, they just wouldn't stop. And I'm like, okay, but like, you wouldn't like suggest to Elisha that he maybe just like turns the other cheek or some like that? He's like, nah, it's not time for turning the other cheek. Not yet. We'll get there, but I don't expect that of Elisha. I mean, Elisha's my boy. He's a man of God. So he's going to I will avenge anyone that messes with my boy. I'm like, okay, wow, it's good to have your friends' backs, I guess. Cool. So like modern times, like the times that I'm living in, which men of God do you see as like true men of God? Like, because a lot of us kind of like quarrel amongst each other, like, hey, this is a true guy of God, and this is a false teacher, this is a false prophet. You know, this crowd has it going on, and this crowd teaches correctly, and this crowd doesn't. So, like, if you were to declare that somebody these days in my modern times was worthy of you having their back and you sending bears for them, who's that? Because whoever that is, I want to get on board with their way of interpreting your word. I want to get behind them and their teachings. He's like, I mean, I don't really know if I can disclose that. Gets a little messy, you know, people have different interpretations of what I mean when I say this and do that in scripture, and you don't want to get bogged down in the details. And I was like, no, I do want to get bogged down in the details. Like, I want to know, you know, what you mean when you say and do things. Like, what's the correct interpretation of the things that you're doing and saying? I mean, I just couldn't get a straight answer out of him. Then I remembered, I'm like, wait a second, this 2 bears and 42 boys or whatever it is, some people say that that's not even supposed to be understood literally, that it literally happened. It's actually like some astrological, like it was a cosmic event, and the writer was actually referring to like a bear constellation moving in the sky towards, like, whatever. That's completely different from like 2 bears actually coming out and like mauling people. So, like, what's up with that? He's like, I'm not gonna touch that. You know, it's, people interpret different ways. I'm like,